All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to try and map out the architecture of your inner world, all thanks to the incredible ideas of psychologist Carl Rogers. We're going to get to the bottom of what makes you, you. You know that feeling, right? That inner tug of war? That feeling that there's a gap between the person you are and the person you feel like you're supposed to be. Well, it turns out there's this brilliant psychological framework that actually explains exactly what's going on in there. So, to get a handle on this tension, we've got to go all the way back to the very beginning, to the moment our sense of I even starts to exist. Think about it. When we're babies, we're just this bundle of experiences. But little by little, we start sorting things out. You know, the warmth from a blanket, that's not me. But the feeling of being warm, yeah, that's me. This is the very first and maybe most important step in building a self. Okay, so at the very heart of Rogers' whole theory is this really powerful idea he called the actualizing tendency. He believed that every single one of us is born with this fundamental biological drive that's constantly pushing our entire being, our whole organism, towards growth and fulfillment. It's like this built-in compass that's always pointing us toward our best self. And when we're infants, that internal compass is super simple. A baby's body just knows what's good for it and what's bad for it. It's not complicated. Food and comfort, good. They help us grow. Hunger and pain, bad. They get in the way. It's this pure instinctive wisdom that's just hardwired right into us. But, of course, things don't stay that simple forever. As we grow up, that straightforward wisdom starts to get a little more complicated. A whole new drive shows up, and this is where that inner tug of war really kicks into high gear. And this, right here, is the source of all that tension. We basically end up with two competing drives inside us. First, there's that original actualization tendency. That's the drive of your entire being, your gut feelings, your body, everything. But then a second one develops, the self-actualization tendency. This is the drive to live up to the story you tell yourself about yourself. And here's the kicker. Those two things, they're not always on the same page. And this really gets to the heart of it. What happens when your body, your gut, your organism is feeling one thing, but the story in your head says you shouldn't? For instance, your entire being might be boiling with anger, but your self-image is, I'm a calm, loving person. I don't get angry. Boom. That's the discrepancy, and that's exactly where that inner conflict and tension are born. Okay, so to really dig into this conflict, we need to break down that you in your head into its two key parts. Let's think of them as the main characters in this inner drama. First, you've got your self-concept. This is basically your own personal story of you. It's who you believe you are right now. And we are super protective of this story. If an experience comes along that doesn't fit the script, like that feeling of anger, we tend to just deny it or twist it around until it fits. And then, the other main character is your ideal self. This is the you you're always striving to be. You know, the version of yourself with all the qualities you admire, your personal vision of who you could be at your absolute best. So there you have it. You've got the person you think you are and the person you want to be. And the distance between those two, well, that turns out to be one of the most important factors for our overall psychological health. That gap actually has a name. Rogers called it incongruence. It's basically the measure of the space between the reality of who you think you are and your own personal aspirations. Now, if that gap is huge, if there's a massive distance between your self-concept and your ideal self, that's where you get feelings of anxiety, dissatisfaction, and just general unhappiness. But when that gap is small, when the person you are and the person you want to be are pretty close, that, according to Rogers, is the sign of a really healthy, well-adjusted person. Okay, but this brings up a huge question, right? If we're literally programmed to ignore stuff that doesn't fit our self-concept, how in the world are we ever supposed to change or close that gap? It really feels like a catch-22. Well, for Rogers, the answer was surprisingly simple: acceptance. He said that when you're in an environment where you feel truly unconditionally accepted by others, just as you are, all those defenses start to come down. The anxiety, the feeling that you're not good enough, it starts to fade. And in that safe space, you can finally start to look at those things you've been pushing away and actually own them. And that is when real change can finally happen. So I want to leave you with this. This whole journey isn't about becoming some perfect, flawless version of yourself. It's really just about closing the gap. It's about bringing the you that you are right now and the you that you want to be just a little bit closer together. So take a moment and ask yourself, how big is your gap?